Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the huge, kind of invisible system that gets literally everything from your phone to your food into your hands. Yep, we are talking all about supply chain and operations.
All right, to really get our heads around this, let's kick things off with a question. Now, it might seem a little random at first, but trust me, the answer gets right to the very heart of how our modern world actually ticks. So, what on earth do these three things have in common? The answer? They are all absolutely critical links in the chain it takes to assemble just one car. And get this, a single car is made up of roughly 30,000 individual components. Just let that sink in. Every single part, from a tiny screw to the massive engine block, has its own incredible journey just to get to the factory floor.
And that massive, globally coordinated effort, well, that's what we call a supply chain. It's so much bigger than just one company, right? It's really a whole ecosystem, all working in concert.
So let's define it. What is a supply chain exactly? At its core, it's the entire complex network of people, processes, and technology that moves a product from its very first supplier all the way to you, the final customer. And here's the thing, your company is just one link in that chain. And you know what they say? If just one link breaks, say a flood shuts down a key factory, the entire system feels the pain.
So, how do you even begin to manage something that complex? Well, one of the best ways to visualize it is to break it down into three critical flows. If you can get a handle on these, you're well on your way.
And here they are. First, you've got the material flow. That's the physical stuff, the actual products, moving downstream from suppliers to customers. Then, of course, money flows the opposite way, upstream from the customer's wallet all the way back to the raw material providers. And the glue holding it all together? That's the information flow. We're talking orders, invoices, tracking numbers, all the data that zips back and forth to make sure everything happens at exactly the right time. Okay, so once you get those flows moving, the job completely shifts. Your new mission becomes making them as efficient as possible. And that means you have to become a detective, hunting down and systematically eliminating anything that adds cost without adding value. In other words, waste.
You know, the legendary management guru W. Edwards Deming had a quote that just nails this perfectly. He said, "You simply can't improve what you don't understand." So the very first step in cutting waste is mapping out your process. I mean, every single step of it. Now, to help you on this hunt, the world of lean management gives us this brilliant little acronym, TIM Woods. It stands for the 8 deadly wastes you need to look for. We're talking about things like unnecessary transportation, holding way too much inventory, or workers making wasted motion. It even includes the less obvious things, like failing to tap into the skills and ideas of your own team. Each one of these is a silent profit killer. But here's the catch. You could build the leanest, most efficient supply chain on Earth, and it could still be vulnerable to shocks and disruptions. That's why resilience, your ability to bounce back from a hit, is just as important as efficiency. And to really understand risk, you have to get comfortable asking some really tough what-if questions. It's not about being negative. It's about being prepared for the realities of a very complex world. This Prepare system gives us a fantastic framework for doing this systematically. The whole idea is to move from just worrying about risks to actively managing them. You brainstorm what could go wrong, figure out how likely it is and how bad it could be, and then, and this is the crucial part, you make a plan before it happens. Do you accept the risk, try to avoid it, or find a way to mitigate the damage? Okay, so we've talked about efficiency and resilience. Now let's look at the future, because this is where things get really interesting. Technology isn't just tweaking supply chains anymore. It's fundamentally rewriting the rules of the game. There's a famous old joke that captures this perfectly. It says the factory of the future will have only 2 employees, a man and a dog. The man's job? To feed the dog. The dog's job? To keep the man from touching the equipment. It's a funny line, but it points to a very serious and unstoppable trend, the relentless march of automation. And right now, no technology is more transformative than AI. It's basically giving supply chains a kind of nervous system. Think about it. Predictive analytics act like a brain, forecasting demand with incredible accuracy. Automated warehouses with AI-powered robots are the tireless hands, working 24/7. And route optimization algorithms? Those are the reflexes, finding the most efficient path in real time. This isn't science fiction anymore. It is the new operational reality. So, after seeing how all these pieces fit together, from the basic flows to managing risk to embracing the future, we're left with one final crucial thought. Every business, big or small, is just one link in a much larger chain, and the entire system is only as strong as its weakest part. So, the real question to leave you with is this: how strong is your link?